Earlier this week, I gave you my thoughts on the refreshed 2024 Mustang Mach-E GT, Ford's performance version of the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Today though, I'm going to drive this, the Ford Mustang Mach-E Rally. How do you know it's a rally? Well, it's got these rather fetching fog lights up front, a completely new front end. And by the way, I've got the frunk open because this has been redesigned for the entirety of Ford's Mustang Mach-E lineup for the 2024 model year. Unfortunately, what hasn't been improved is the rain. I'm here at Dirtfish, just east of Seattle, Washington, where it has been raining non-stop all day long. But that's okay because I'm about to put this car through its paces on some nice rural roads. I've already driven it on a specially prepared rallycross course, two in fact earlier today, and I've also been driven around at breakneck speed by a professional driver to show you what this thing is capable of doing, and boy is it capable. Before we head off though, I do want to just point out some other features in addition to these rally inspired spotlights at the front and the special front end. There's a new diffuser and front splitter that's designed for better approach angles. There's also been some nips and tweaks and tucks at the side. There's an extra 1 inch of ground clearance. There's some special fancy all white alloy wheels. They're not white steel, even though they look like it, which is a bit of a tradition at Ford. Ford's had white wheels on its WRC cars for generations. And so the Mustang Mach-E Rally, while not a WRC car, certainly looks the part. But unlike so many cars out there today that look like they're capable of going off-road or driving on a race course, this car is actually capable of doing everything it suggests it might be. So let's talk about how you go about building a Ford Mustang Mach-E Rally. You start by taking a base Ford Mustang and then you give it all of the performance tweaks that are found as standard in the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT. That means the NCM battery pack, the tweaked front motor from previous model years, the all-new in-house Ford-designed and built rear motor out of the F-150 Lightning with an appropriate final drive ratio. You take the MagneRide suspension from the GT and give it some tweaks so it's ready for off-road rally fun. You give it a 1 inch lift all round. You give it special rally-inspired wheels that might look like they're the old school retro steel wheels with white paint, but are actually white alloy wheels, and believe me, they are so fetching. And then you slap on some appropriate rubber, in this case 19-inch cross-climate tyres. And then you take the GT's performance mode and all of the improvements in battery management and thermal management, and when you enter into unbridled mode, which you can do by tapping the car here, you enter into unbridled mode, and then there's a button, a new button that is only available on the Rally, and it's called Rally Sport. If you press that button, you unleash 10 kinds of awesomeness, and this vehicle really does do truly amazing things. Let me demonstrate. I was almost at standstill behind that truck and I was able to accelerate that 3 point something second sprint time that you get in the Mustang Mach-E GT is still there, but the Rally is even more poised and even more well behaved. It just sits there and it lets you do your thing. And I love how responsive the throttle is. This vehicle feels very different to the GT that I drove earlier this week. And while I struggled to keep the GT under control, this feels a lot nicer to drive. Now, it may just be that I've set it up differently. It may be that the weather is different. It may be that we're driving it in a slightly different scenario. But I'm really enjoying how all of this ties together. Oh, and of course, the fancy green paint, which is new for 2024. I've forgotten the name that Ford gives it, but it's basically a British racing green, not quite. And also there's the bronze appearance package for the GT variant, but of course you don't get that with the Rally, because who would want to replace those gorgeous white wheels? Not me. When we had the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT to review, it was a perfectly beautiful sunny day. But today it's been raining all day, which is perfect for this car, because this car is designed to be a rally-going car. And believe me, it's capable. Now, right now I'm driving on an unpaved road, but earlier today I got to try this out on an official rallycross course at Dirtfish, just east of Seattle, Washington. And what an experience it was. This car on the freeway is very well mannered and handles perfectly, but put it on a dirt road and it just eggs you on. Right now I'm driving this a little bit more gently because I don't know this road, but also I'm not too worried about the bumps and the lumps. One of the reasons why this is so well handling is because the chassis has been tweaked for off-road capable driving, and that gives this car better handling than the Mustang Mach-E GT. There's also that extra 1 inch of ground clearance, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it really does make a massive difference. The other important thing to bear in mind here is that Ford has given you a new front end with a new front splitter that enables you to have better approach angles. So if you are off-roading it a little bit, it means you're not going to bash the front of the car all that easily. Now, at low speed, the steering is a little bit of hard work on a trail like this, but get it on the rallycross course and you can flip it round corners incredibly quickly. I managed to get it sideways plenty, and I'm not exactly an expert in sideways driving, but I can tell you, doing it, using it, driving it just egged me on. And on the rallycross course, the software inside the car was helping me put power to the ground at every opportunity, and it was so joyous to do. But when you hit tarmac, you just turn off the rally sport mode, you go back into whisper or engage, or even unbridle if you so wish, and then it just behaves like a regular Mustang Mach-E. It's got a nice comfortable seat, although this is the performance seat, so it's got these nice wings that hug you and keep you safe. And then everything else feels just like a regular Mach-E. Of course, you don't have the panoramic glass sunroof in this particular model, which is totally fine. Of course, if you live somewhere where it's really warm, it's actually better to have a metal roof than it is to have a panoramic glass one. Now we've had a bit of off-road fun, let's go back onto the freeway, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this car and what it offers. First off, we have to talk about the performance. So now is a better point as any to show you just how quick this is going to be. So I'm going to stop here. on the on-ramp. There's nobody behind me apart from our camera truck. And I'm going to show you the acceleration test. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Lots of wheel spin, but already, even in wet weather, I'm at 65. Blisteringly quick, enough power to get you out of trouble in most situations. I mean, that was about 3 and a bit seconds to get to 60 miles an hour. Once you get to kind of below 4 seconds, I would argue, I think quite rightly so, that unless you are a drag strip fan, unless you are a motorsport fan, those extra tenths of a second here and there don't really mean much. The fact is that this can get you out of trouble and up to freeway speed extremely quickly, and that is obviously at the end of the day what you want. But when you're on the freeway, this car is very mild-mannered. I'm now in whisper mode. I'm doing 60 miles an hour, and the only real noise I can hear is from the road itself, which is a bit uneven. They're doing some construction work, and also the rain. Lots and lots of rain. For the 2024 model year, like the Mustang Mach-E GT, this has the ability now to precondition the battery for charging. Right now I'm using Apple Maps because that's my preferred mapping solution of choice, but if you opt to use Ford's built-in mapping solution, it will precondition the battery pack if it knows that you are heading to a fast charging station. Preconditioning, for those who don't know, helps prepare the battery pack to receive high current charging. Basically, if you precondition the pack, you warm it up before you arrive at the fast charging station, the car's battery pack can accept charge more quickly. That means you spend less time at the charging station, and that is a super important feature. Like the rest of the Mustang Mach-E family, this car has all-round cameras, and it also has a much beloved in the Pacific Northwest rear wiper. It gives me the ability to actually see what's behind me, which on a day like today is pretty dang important. So what makes the Ford Mustang Mach-E Rally so special then? Well, I think it's the fact that it's good at multiple things. It doesn't pretend to be good at them. It actually is. Let's go through the list. Right now, I'm on a freeway at 58 miles per hour. It is tipping down with rain, and this car is completely comfortable with it. I think it actually rides a little bit better than the Mustang Mach-E GT. I'm not sure if that's down to the wheel and tyre combination, the extra inch of ground clearance, or the tweaks that have been made to the front splitter to improve approach angles. But whatever it is, it feels and rides incredibly well. I know the MagneRide suspension has been tweaked compared to the GT to make it more ready for off-road performance. It has slightly different hardware in, it has different suspension components in and steering components in to make it a little bit more rugged for off-road capabilities. But on the road, this is incredibly well behaved, and it doesn't feel like a high-powered, twitchy rally car. It feels like a daily driver. And that reminds me very much of the Ford Focus ST and the Ford Fiesta ST, two high-performance variants of two very popular Ford cars that you could drive as a daily driver and then have a little bit of fun with them at the weekend. And that is exactly what this car is capable of doing. On the freeway, it offers all of the comfort and convenience of any other of the Ford Mustang Mach-E family. It's got Blue Cruise. It's got Blue Cruise 1.3, which means you can lane change automatically. That is coming to existing models via an over-the-air software update, I understand. I don't know when, but I think it's in Ford's roadmap. It gives you fast charging capabilities, improved fast charging over previous years thanks to tweaks to the battery pack, the battery management system, the thermal management system, and of course the preconditioning that I mentioned earlier on. It's got a fantastically responsive touchscreen display, much better than I saw in the Mustang Mach-E's of a few years ago. It's very intuitive to use, it makes sense, and of course it comes with a Ford over-the-air telematics system that allows you to do everything from send a map to your car, to precondition it, start and stop charging, and a whole bunch of other things. That's all standard Ford Mustang Mach-E, as is this gorgeous, quiet, comfortable interior, these wonderful seats, which I didn't like when I first tried them several years ago, but since then I've lost a bunch of weight and, well, I really like them now. So if you're a little bit on the plus size, you may not like them quite as much as I do right now. So wrap all of that everyday driving capabilities in a very stylish, well-built EV, and then you add performance chops, the suspension lift, the tweaks to the handling specifically for a rally sport-esque experience. And unlike many vehicles on the market today that write checks they can't actually cash in terms of real-world capabilities, this car most certainly can. I have not at any point today felt like I've not been able to do something in this. It's just let me get on with the task of driving. I've driven this on roads and been very comfortable behind the wheel. I've driven it on a rallycross course, 2 rallycross courses in fact, and then been driven around by a professional driver on the 3rd. And at every moment, this has felt like the pinnacle of what a Ford Mustang Mach-E can be. We're back where we started. I am still drenched. It has been raining all day, but you know what? We need it, and I'm a gardener, so I cannot complain. I've managed to bring the car back in this resplendent green, reasonably clean, at least a lot cleaner than the ones on the rallycross course behind me. While I'm at the side, I do want to throw a bone to this fancy spoiler on the rear. This is something that only the rally variant gets, and you can see it really looks the part. It's staged. And as I said in the car, it is capable of cashing those checks. If you're in the market for a Mustang Mach-E, or in fact a family-friendly electric crossover with a decent range, with decent fast charging capabilities and lots of onboard tech, this is the car for you. It is, at least if you like going camping at the weekends and you like driving up dirt trails and you want to have some extra ground clearance, or perhaps you really do want to go and do some rallycross in this at the weekend at an amateur level. This car is capable of that and more. And for my money, this is the best value proposition of Ford's Mustang Mach-E sporty variants. The GT is good, but for approximately $6,000 more, you could have this. And for that extra $6,000, this packs a whole lot to boot. That is why this is my new favorite Mustang Mach-E. To finish though, I do want to throw a bone to you if you are someone who has been asking why we don't get entry-level cars to test. I actually raised that with the folks at Ford today at this event, and I was told by multiple people basically the same thing. Press fleets don't genuinely get entry-level vehicles because the majority of the automotive press, both print and digital, don't drive and review entry-level models. So if you want us to review the Ford Mustang Mach-E Select, which we want to get and drive, you need to make some noise to Ford and tell them to put it on the press fleet and encourage other journalists to drive them, because this is the most expensive Ford Mustang Mach-E on the market, and many people cannot afford the price tag. It's just over 60 grand. A lot of people can afford the entry-level model and want the looks and want the styling of the Mustang Mach-E, but they don't need the 700 foot-pounds and 3-point-something sprint time of this car. And for those people, they want to see reviews of practical cars they can afford. But if they're not on the press fleet, we can't always review them. Anyway, thanks to Ford for a lovely day of fun here at Dirtfish. Thanks to Dirtfish for putting us up. And thanks to the Pacific Northwest for all of the rain.
Thanks for joining me today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They are some of more than 1,500 people who help fund this channel through Patreon and YouTube. They help cover our bills, pay our team, and make sure that we can be 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There are a range of different tiers you can sign up for from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, just over $10 a year. A huge welcome to our newest supporters, Mac McIntosh, Kyle Randall, Bryant E. Day, Shedrick Mask, and Robin Mayorga. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your week of fame. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at, address linked below. And if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store in the down below. This month, we're getting ready to celebrate Pride with an amazing t-shirt design by our in-house artist and animator Erin. Get yours today when it drops in early June by heading to our Redbubble store. We've got some great content coming up, so make sure you're subscribed on PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we think that this one is also well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving!